Tonight, Australia mourns the loss of racing legend Bart Cummings.
It's a massive, massive hole that will never be filled.
Tributes from across the nation for the 12-time Melbourne Cup winner.
From Melbourne, this is 7 News with Jennifer Keyte.
Good evening. Australia is mourning the death of racing legend Bart Cummings, the 87-year-old winner of 12 Melbourne Cups, who was famously allergic to horses and hay, passed away peacefully at his home this morning. He leaves a legacy that may never be equalled, and his loss is being felt around the nation. Michael Felgate begins our coverage.
A legend in racing, an icon of Australia. There will never be another Bart Cummings.
He created a record that will never be broken. It is Bradman-esque. That 12 Melbourne Cups is the equivalent of 99.94.
Bart is the greatest trainer that we've ever had in this country, and I don't think we'll ever see the like of him again.
James Bartholomew Cummings passed away in his sleep at his Princess Farm outside Sydney early this morning, aged 87. His wife of 61 years, Val May, was by his side after celebrating their last anniversary on Friday. In a statement, the family said this was a fitting end. A husband, father, grandfather and great-grandfather, a master trainer and a larger-than-life figure. We will miss you. On the same farm, just a few hours later, the circle of life continued. A foal bred by Cummings was born. The family will race the filly in his honour. Known as the Cup's King, Cummings won our greatest race 12 times. The first with Light Fingers in 1965, the last with Viewed in 2008. Joe Agresta knew his genius firsthand, working with Cummings as a track rider for 34 years.
People that don't know about horses, they used to say to me, oh, you know, what did he do? I said, it was like a mechanic taking a four-cylinder motor out of a car and dropping a V8 engine in it.
In all, Cummings trained almost 7,000 winners, 268 at Group 1 level and a number of champions.
People often ask which is the best. I said it would be unfair to say one's better than the other. They're all very, very good.
A member of the Australian Sporting Hall of Fame, Cummings' legend transcended racing. Immortalised in bronze at Flemington, he was known for his bushy eyebrows and classic one-liners.
I rang Bart up and said, Bart, look, I've got something to tell you. He said, what is it, son? I said, well, look, I really believe the Lord wants me to go into Bible college and you know, take a couple of years off riding. And the phone went quiet, and I said, are you there, Bart? And he said, yeah, I'm here. He said, have you ever thought about getting a second opinion on it?
Bart is the greatest ever. It's simple as that.
Training in partnership with grandson James, Bart was a winner to the end. His final runner, Sultry Feeling, saluting in Sydney yesterday. Today, his famous green and gold silks were in the winner's stall once again.
I'm sure Bart was there, lifting him over the line.
Melbourne Cup Day won't be the same without Bart Cummings, but his legacy and name will live on. Michael Felgate, 7 News.
Bart Cummings was one of the great characters of Australian sport, a humble genius of the track who was loved and admired across the country and around the world. Nick McCallum compiled this tribute.
We last saw him fleetingly, visiting his runner Precedent's last Melbourne Cup Eve. The previous Spring Carnival, the Cup's King looked extremely frail. After a 43-year reign, always ultra-competitive, but mysterious, self-deprecating, laconic.
I do make a habit of winning this race, someone told me, and I said, well, it's a good habit to get into, I said.
I don't think there's anyone in racing anywhere in the world ever who's got such a record in a single race.
James Bartholomew Cummings was raised in the outback. His dad, Jim, a local trainer who made good, so good, he won the 1950 Melbourne Cup with Comic Court.
And Comic Court is racing on.
I thought that was terrific. So I thought I'd like to do it myself one day, but didn't expect to do it so often.
Bart started at a gallop, training the 1965 Melbourne Cup winner Light Fingers.
In front, Light Fingers throwing out a desperate challenge.
The year after, he did it again, this time with Galilee.
By the soul, Galilee.
and in 1967 with red-handed.
But it's red-handed's cup.
Well, I couldn't be a jockey, and I wasn't educated to be anything else. I started to realise that horses seemed to come easy to me.
With owner, Malaysian businessman Dato Tan, he next hit the big time with Think Big in 1974 and 75.
Can't win, but Think Big wins.
Dato helped him through tough financial times in the early 90s, and they combined again for Saintly's win in 1996 and Viewed in 2008. Legendary partners in sport, business and song.
Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside.
In all, Bart won an unparalleled 12 Melbourne Cups over 43 years, and that from a bloke who always insisted he was allergic to horses.
The doctor said, keep away from them and your troubles are over. So I decided not to take his advice.
But if you ask Bart what's his secret with horses, the answer was always perplexing.
Let nature take its course and don't race them too often. So I was fortunate enough to get a couple of horses that were good enough, and it happened.
Well, he's born with it, you can't make that, you know. He's just got it. Lots haven't, but he's got it, so... And he doesn't give it away either.
You can't imitate Bart for the simple reason that you don't know what he's doing.
Up until a few years ago, he was still supervising training at 3 in the morning.
OBE, over bloody 80.
An indication of his status, his statue at Flemington was always a magnet during the spring carnival. Bart Cummings was a champion, a comedian, a philosopher, the Bradman of the turf.
One opposition trainer said because he used to bring the parish priest and have them blessed, that was the secret. So I said, you better change your religion and try it. I'll tell you, if you can't, like the boxer in the ring, it's no good blessing himself if he can't fight.
Nick McCallum, 7 News.